What's good, Yugi Tubes? Pengor321 here. We got a special deck to show off. I had a request in a Discord server for an Edison format deck that I featured a couple times. This is the Sky Scourge Norleras Turbo deck. Any words about the deck before you get started?
It is kind of like a derpy combo deck in a sense, but you can't just wheel out the combo. I'll explain it as I go through the deck, but you can't always just go for the combo every single time because you need to be set up for it. So, triple Red Eyes Darkness, 1 Gores, 2 Norleras, 3 Dark Creator, 3 Dark Horus. These are your high levels in the deck. This is probably, in my opinion, is the worst draw. It doesn't abuse Debris Dragon in the Dragon Turbo deck as much, so you're really trying to cheat these out with Waverins or with the Dark Creator, which is probably one of the best follow-ups after you Norleras pop or get into the mid to late game once you have a substantial amount of darks in the graveyard, where you're starting to loop your Dark Horuses and the Red Eyes. And then Gores is a great staple.
Broken card in the format.
Yep. And then triple Fan of Chaos.
Bread and butter.
Yeah, pretty much bread and butter. Dark Grepher is going to help you send your Red Eyes Darkness Metals, or oftentimes I'm sending a Plague or the Necro Gardener early to kind of set up the graveyard in the future turns. Fan of Chaos is isn't just Norleras most of the time. It's often even a Dark Creator, because that effect is just insane. And grabbing the Red Eyes from the graveyard and then getting the Dark Horus. Yeah, you're not doing damage, but this is often at least killing something, and the board presence is really important. So, and then the Widow's Reverend is a great beater, and then has a great effect. Oftentimes I'm just dumping all 3 of those with the Future Fusion.
Right.
And then Dark Arm. It can be hard to get out later in the game, but you do have some graveyard manipulation between the Fan of Chaos and Dark Creator.
Especially the first few turns, I think you have that really just powerful. If you draw it, you play it.
Yep.
Basically.
So that was the monsters. For the spells, playing Upstart Goblin, Rhoda, Card Destruction, Foolish, Trade-In, and Lure. This is kind of all your, and then the Future Fusion, this is kind of all your gas, where you're trying to get to, you're trading in your Dark Horses and the Dark Creators. The Upstart's obviously to playing a 37 card deck. Card Destruction's insane when you're drawing 5 off of it, and you're dumping your grave. Rhoda's, not only can grab Dark Grepher, but you can also grab, if you open the Dark Grepher, you can grab the Necro, so you can use the Necro as a pitch, so you have that protection for turn. And then Foolish is just what Phantom of Chaos gets you that combo. And then Standard Draw, and then Thin. So this is one of the things that I was saying, where you're Norleras, you want to see Gold Sark for Dark Creators, often what I'm doing, or Future Fusion, where you're Gold Sarking for the Future Fusion. If you have that set up, then that's when I am often trying to look for a Norleras. Otherwise, if you're doing it, if you're playing against Black Wings, or you're playing against even zombies, you're just kind of, you can be fueling the fire, and you don't want to lose that tempo. In some cases, you maybe need to be playing it out a little past just that turn 1 mindset. And then the last 3 cards, just so back row removal hate, so the turn you want to go off, or against some decks you're going to want to play this to slow them down, so then you can do your follow up. If you have your Future Fusion out for a turn, you cold wave on that first turn where it's cooked. They can't do really their turn, and then it comes to yours, and you have a 5-headed out, and you're able to play your trade-ins and go crazy without having to worry about them having to set extra traps. So that's the 40-card main. Moving on to the extra. Extra is pretty standard, I would say, for 5-headed. I play 2 Cyber Dragons in the extra deck, so I am playing the Chimera Tech. Side deck. And then the 1/9, because you can make it with Necro Gardener, Plague, and a 4. It often doesn't come up where you're looping.
Right, but why not run it, right?
Yeah. You can, in theory, loop Plague and get into these 8s, or even the 9, but how often it comes up doesn't necessarily. Right. So since I'm playing Cyber Dragons, I do get the Black Rose easier access. And then 6s, Iron Chain is actually pretty relevant, it being a dragon, so you can actually make it and then re-summon it later. It being a 2500 attack is pretty relevant. It's just another option if you don't necessarily have the Dark Horus. And then side deck, so I am playing 1 Prime Material Dragon. I did this mostly for the Blackwing matchup for Icarus attack and stuff. And I'm just trying to mill it off of like the Future Fusion, or like it's even just good against like Royal Oppression too if you're going to be playing against those matchups. It does take a little bit of setup with having to like tribute it out, but like once it's out, it is an option where you can be able to do it. Like if you do a turn 1 for the future turns. And there's Royal Decree, Master Restrict, Electric or Eradicator Epidemic Virus,
Deck Devastation,
and Lightning Vortex. I really like the viruses. I'm a huge fan of them. Always have been, always will be. Like they can, like EEV is probably the one that will clinch out a lot of your matchups where you're calling traps or spells. And then this is like for your quick draw or like the smaller tutory decks.
Any of the like little combo decks.
Yeah. I mean, it's not as great as against like frogs or anything, just because of like Treeborn, but like there is like some semblance of like not letting them do
It knocks
you.
swap though.
Well, it knocks substitute, so it does do that. And then Lightning Vortexes, I think, are great, like because you are trying to send cards to the grave. So this does kind of do double duty and like putting cards in the grave and clearing the opponent's board of like a Vanity's Fiend or any other problem monsters, like even Armor Master.
For sure. Any last words about the deck? Any kind of like special matchups it's good against? Anything as far as just somebody Norleras take out the entire hand turn 1?
I would say like I'm not always doing it against, like I said, like Black Moons and Zombies, like decks that are going to be utilizing the grave. You maybe want to be considering like taking out like the Norleras for like game 2.
Just making it more like Dragon Turbo almost.
Yeah, and like playing like the decrees for their trap lineups and like the EVs, and it does do great against like the decks I want to beat down, because your beat down is like you're playing such big monsters, so
right?
It's hard for them, and like Dark Creator is also a great wall. So
awesome.
I don't think there's any other things.
Not a whole lot.
Fun deck.
Right.
But is it the best deck? No, I think the problem is that its worst matchups are like Blackwing and the Zombie deck.
Right, which
those are like
huge.
the 2 best decks.
Exactly. All right. Well, thank you for the deck. I really appreciate it.
No problem. I'm glad people enjoyed the deck. It's a lot of fun.
Awesome. Well, see you guys. Thank you for watching.